Hi, I'm Anita East. Welcome to my weekly book reading of Beautiful Unique Faces by me, Anita East. Part 2. Appearances can be deceiving. Case study, Fiona. I first saw Fiona in my waiting room 5 years ago. Her face overfilled to the point of looking alien-like. Her cheeks were abnormally large and sharp. Her eyes disappeared into her head and were almost hidden from too much tear trough dermal filler. In a heartbeat, I made a judgement that I'm not proud of, and worse still, was incorrect. I judged that Fiona was a shopper. A shopper is a term we use in the profession to refer to patients who go from clinic to get the lowest price. They often only come to a new clinic when disillusioned and angry that they can't have their unrealistic expectations met by their previous practitioner, or their former practitioner has refused to treat them anymore. When I first saw Fiona, I immediately made a judgment in my head. I had my defences up and decided exactly how I would handle the situation. After treating many patients, clinicians get handy at recognising those whose behaviour elicits a red flag. Unrealistic expectations, lack of acceptance over what is achievable for their face, and a refusal to listen to expert reason will all mean a red flag. I gave Fiona a red flag based on her looks. Fiona didn't meet my eyes as she asked, "Can you help me?" "How can I help you?" I replied. "Can you fix my face?" A common misconception that body dysmorphic shoppers have is that there's something innately wrong with their face. "Have you ever had treatment before?" I asked. Sometimes patients lie on their questionnaire to hide how many treatments they've had. It's like people who shop from GP to GP for opiate painkillers. They often say they haven't taken opiates before. 12 months ago, I had a treatment done by someone my friends recommended in the city. It was the first time. Fiona started to cry. "What did you have done?" I asked. "I had dermal fillers in my cheeks, and it made me look like this," Fiona whispered. The penny dropped. Fiona wasn't a shopper at all, but a patient who, against her will, had been overtreated. I'm seeing an alarming rate of these patients in my clinic. Fiona continued. "I looked in the mirror after the doctor did the treatment. I was horrified. The doctor made me look like her. She thought I looked great, but I looked like her, and I didn't think she looked great. She looked weird. Everyone who worked there looked weird." Finally, Fiona looked me in the eye for the first time. My face has been like this for 12 months now. It's ruined my life. "Did you go back to see the doctor?" I inquired. I called the clinic after a few days and was told I'd get used to how it looked and not to worry. They said it might just be swelling and it can take time for the swelling to go down. After 2 weeks, I called again and said I didn't like the way it looked, but they wouldn't book another appointment for me to see the doctor for 3 months. I called again the following week and they told me the doctor wasn't able to see me ever again. It ruined my life. Fiona told me about the impact it had on her life. Since the dermal filler treatment to her cheeks, she'd become a hermit and refused to leave her house. Her husband told her she looked weird and wasn't sensitive to the impact it placed on her feelings of self-worth. She stopped socialising with family. She dropped out of her weekly catch-up with her girlfriends, especially the ones who'd recommended Fiona have the treatment. In front of me sat a 45-year-old woman whose life was negatively impacted thanks to following a trend and being overtreated. I'm so depressed. I haven't looked in the mirror for almost a year. There's no way I can hide this with makeup. Wherever I go, everyone looks at me as if I'm weird, and I know people are talking about me behind my back. I comforted Fiona while she spoke. It was apparent she hadn't told anyone else this information before. I swore I'd never go near a place like this before, but I've been watching you in the local magazine. I've watched some of the women leave and they all look natural. And you look normal. You are safe here, Fiona, I said. Can you fix my face? Fiona asked. That's the end of this week's reading. Have an amazing week ahead. And I might see you next week. Otherwise, I might actually record a podcast this week. So you might have to just get my book, Beautiful Unique Faces, to continue reading.